Hello everybody, welcome back to Terps Esports, live from College Park. My name is Lily.
And my name is Hayden. Tonight we have our Game Changers Premier Valorant team competing in a best-of-3 against Savannah State.
That's right, Hayden. In our pre-show, we'll provide a rundown of player statistics from the season so far, as well as get in an interview with the team's initiator, Trace.
In case you aren't familiar with the game, let's discuss the rules of your typical Valorant match. So Valorant is an objective-based FPS game where teams of 5 compete in two 12-round cycles against each other.
For this game, the Terps are competing in a regular NECC matchup against in a best-of-3.
It's still really early in the season, and this team is currently 1-1 in the NECC, so winning this game would mean a winning record.
So now that you know what's at stake, it's time for us to introduce you to the members of the team. We're also going to take a look at each player's stats from this year's season, such as their KD ratio, which is an ACS, or average combat score for short.
Okay, Lily, let's get started. First up is the team's duelist, Savannah. Savannah has an ACS of 242, an ADR of 157, which are both the highest amongst her team, and a KD of 1.28. These are some really good numbers for a duelist.
And next up is Carrots. She is the team's controller. She has an ACS of 221, which is the second highest of her team, an ADR of 146, and a KD of 1.37. Carrots is incredible with her utility usage, and she typically ranks high on the leaderboard in terms of kills.
Next up, we've got Soap. Soap is the team's Sentinel, and she has an ACS of 184, an ADR of 122, and a KD of 0.95. She is particularly strong on KJ and Cypher on those defensive setups.
Moving on to the team's flex, Hammy. She's got an ACS of 218, an ADR of 142, and a KD of 1.53, which is the highest KD of her team. And since she's a flex player, it's important for her to be able to fill in where her team needs her the most.
Now our final player is Trace. We're actually going to get an interview with Trace, so before that, let's get a look at her stats.
Sounds good, Hayden. Trace is the team's initiator, and she's got an ACS of 195, an ADR of 125, and a KD of 1.39. Trace is super skilled in using her utility in order to gain information for her team so they can make game time decisions in response. And she's here now in the studio with us tonight. Hi, Trace, how are you doing? So just reflecting on the season so far, what do you think has been going well, and do you expect to change anything up tonight?
I think our team had a little bit of a slow start, but we're still working on working as a team together. Of course, as like a new mix of people are coming together, there's going to be difficulties. And today we do have one of our subs playing, Hammy. So I think the team dynamic will be a little bit different, but we can make it work tonight.
Yeah, best of luck to you guys tonight. But what map do you guys think you feel the most comfortable on? Is there anything you guys consider more heavily going into map bans?
So our strongest picks would be Ascent and Haven because we play those maps the most. So I really hope that we get to play those maps today.
Yes, you guys are super fun to watch on Ascent, so I also hope you get to play Ascent today. And last but not least, what is on your pregame playlist? And do you typically listen to music during a match?
So on my pregame playlist, I like to play songs that are hype and just like fun to listen to, so that I can get the mood up. And I do not typically listen to music while I'm in a match because I like to focus on what's happening, and I think that music will distract me, so I don't listen to music.
I'm the same exact way. Well, best of luck tonight, and we can't wait to watch you guys get into the action. We'll be back right after a quick commercial break.
Hey guys, welcome back, and our first map of the night is going to be Lotus.
I'm really excited to see Lotus because I don't think we've seen it yet in studio so far. Not a map that's picked too commonly. I think a lot of people are hesitant to pick Lotus because it's a tricky map. So I'm excited to see what they're able to do on it tonight.
Yeah, the nice thing with Lotus too is it allows for a lot of really different agent compositions where you have like Ascent and Haven where they're pretty streamlined. But Lotus, you can have a lot of things on it. I know a lot of people like to run Chamber, and as we've seen in the past, Carrots really does like Chamber.
Oh yeah.
So it might be a possibility tonight.
Yeah, Carrots on Chamber, certainly a possibility. Also, having a Harbor, certainly a possibility as well, because he is a very good pick on this map and not on a lot of other maps. So I'm expecting a KJ, definitely. In terms of our Initiator, I think there's a lot of room there for flexibility, but the guessing games are over. We are into Agent Select. I see an Insta-lock Neon for the side of Savannah State. The Terps are going to have to figure out how to respond to that.
Yeah, and it does look like Carrot's hovering over Astra, which is really interesting because recently Astra got a buff, which I was really happy about. I played her a little bit earlier, and the 5 stars does really makes a really big difference. Because typically with like Astra, you have to pair her with another controller, whether it's like Viper or maybe another Dome Smoker, just because she doesn't really have much util to work with. But I think that 5th star really allows her to shine in that solo controller area.
And we are seeing a Deadlock also from Savannah State, and that was something I wanted to bring up too. Deadlock is so annoying to play against this map, especially on defense, which Savannah State is going to be starting out off of, especially on B site. One Deadlock wall can pretty much shut down, or C rather, from an attack. You are forced to go through B if you want to hit C if there's a Deadlock wall there, which makes things very difficult for the attack. So Savannah State's all locked in. UMD still waiting a little bit to lock in, but for the most part, it does look like we are going to see Carrots on Astra, and I'm really excited to see that because we don't see a lot of Astra gameplay, and like you said, she just got a buff, so that is going to be very interesting. Other than that, both teams opting for a raised for their duelist pick, which I think is very safe, but very different compositions overall.
Yeah, I mean, Savannah State is opting for that double duelist here. Lotus is a pretty heavily attack-sided map, so they're going to really kind of dominate on attack. UMD just has to be really, really careful about that. But even just on defense, like you said, they have that power of the Deadlock, and being able to, her wall creates so much isolation opportunity, especially on C, and even on B too.
And now we are going to get started shortly into the first round of this best of 3. Like we said, UMD is going to have to figure out this attack. Single duelist. They do have 2 initiators though, so I'm sure they're going to have to use that initiator utility to help them, get past all of this Deadlock stuff that's going to be in their way. But who will take pistol round? We will find out shortly, as UMD looks like they're looking to default or at least make presence across certainly B and C long.
Yeah, and Savannah State is looking at a 1-4 split. They're looking to really take a lot of A main territory here, and UMD just kind of has to back up off of that and play a little bit of defense on attack.
Yeah, A wasn't going to be an option for UMD because there was a lot of aggression shown by Savannah State there, but that draws in the fast rotate from Savannah State. UMD, though, being really patient, sitting, waiting for any more aggression from the other side. They're not going to find any quite yet, as they're just kind of slowly inching up. C long, though, is maybe where the Terps are going to start to gain some ground, but they do have to work through a smoke if they want to get onto site, and a Deadlock wall for that matter. Yeah, a couple shots coming through that Deadlock wall. That's going to be annoying to break with pistols. First pick comes out, though, in favor for UMD as Soap swings up onto B and takes down the initiator for Savannah State. Now an A push coming in, and it's working out for UMD as Hammy takes down the duelist. So they're going to be able to come fast onto A site, and it's really only 2 people from Savannah State there, and they're kind of not on site or in position to defend this super aggressively. So UMD should be able to take site if they're aware of this omen.
30 seconds left.
And Soap is on the lurk right now. She might be able to catch this Deadlock off guard.
And now UMD has a great numbers advantage, and as a result, they're able to take the first pistol round of this series. A very slow and patient round for UMD.
Yeah, it was a very good call there, just to kind of play back a little bit, even just in ranked or comp. A is a pretty common place to show a lot of aggression, especially on the defensive side. And little do we know, Savannah State was going to do that exact same thing, except they put 4 people there, which is really surprising.
Yeah, after UMD found the aggression off of A, I really liked, like you said, backing up, waiting for it to draw those rotates, and then quickly doubling back after finding a pick there. So great play call from UMD. Looks like
this is going to look a little dangerous for Soap with the Bucky from the Gecko.
Yeah, Soap has got to check this corner if she has any hopes of creeping up and finding that pick onto B like she did in the last round. But speaking of last round, things are looking pretty similar, and the fight has begun outside of B, and the Bucky comes out victorious. So now they're going to pick up that Spectre, but a trade has come through for the side of UMD thanks to Carrots. So things are all leveled out on either side. UMD not letting go of their C presence, waiting for these smokes to dissipate. I don't know if there's a deadlock. I think there might be there's definitely deadlock utilities surrounding that entrance onto C site, so they're gonna have to group together to play numbers off of that utility.
Right there.
Yeah, I think that Deadlock's got 2 sonic sensors just waiting for the push from UMD, but the positioning from the Deadlock's just very, very passive. I think she's just trying to stall a little bit, and Savannah might be aware of the sensor.
Yeah, the Terps run through the sensors together and break one of them, gets caught by the second though, but it doesn't matter. They're able to take C-site because this Deadlock is pushed off into CT there, but regardless, they're able to find Trace, but Hammy pushes through to secure that trade. Spike able to come down for UMD, and this Bucky is still in play in close range. It can just be so deadly. I like this stun. And Savannah's able to capitalize off of that utility.
Remaining.
But this Omen just pushes through CT and just takes any of the remaining Terps that are there. They just really grouped together to take that fight, and they neglected Spike a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, even just with that lingering Bucky, that was really dangerous to push them just in CT, because the bomb isn't necessarily planted for CT either. You still have the pillar in front of it.
So UMD has lost that round, meaning they're going to have to scrape together a less than ideal buy against a better buy from the side of Savannah State. And they're also going to have to watch out for what went wrong that round, which I think is just their positioning.
Yeah, definitely the positioning, but I think also the aggression too. Really trying to take space up in CT, I don't think was the best idea there. Even though they had a good idea, just it was a high risk, high reward. And Carrots is here. Wants to get into the face of the judge.
This is risky for Hammy and Carrots. And Carrots gets taken down off of that double swing. So now UMD has to be just even more passive than they were before and really consider finding a pick before they're able to make their way onto site.
But Savannah State looking to try to get a lot of space outside in A lobby and maybe even push the T-spawn.
And more aggression from the shotguns comes out for Savannah State. Finally, Savannah able to find a pick, but she gets traded off the back end of that. Speaking of trades, Trace also got traded there. Savannah State gonna find another successful round for themselves.
Yeah, UMD was still able to kill 2 players there, but given how Savannah State's economy was just going into the second round, I mean, they saved a lot of the guns that UMD bought up the round before just so they can have some extra money in the bank. And I think a few of them had like 2,000 or 3,000. So even just losing 2 people that last round is gonna not really do much to their economy. So UMD's got to really pull something back here.
Yeah, now they have those ideal weapons in hand, so if they're gonna even things out in any round, this should hopefully be the round to do it, and they are just avoiding this shotgun at all costs. Grouping together towards C-site, gonna have to work through this deadlock wall though. And as a team, it's certainly doable, but they are going to have to do this thing fast because the rotates are gonna start coming in for Savannah State. any moment now, especially if this wall comes down, but the shotgun has made its way towards C site, so that's also something for the Terps to consider, as it looks like they're not too sold on C anymore and kind of leaning back. Soap is trying to look towards B, see if she can find a pick there. There's certainly numbers towards B site, so certainly doable, but no one's quite peeking into her yet. And the rest of the team, without the spike, in fact, actually sitting into spawn. I wouldn't be surprised if UMD decided to go back A here, considering that's something we've seen them do in the first round. But they really haven't, they don't have a lot of information to work off of here. They haven't really seen anybody. I don't think Soap spotted any of these defenders yet onto B, so instead, it's just going to be an all-out C push. They've got to find this deadlock quickly.
This is not good. Most of UMD's team was vulnerable.
Yeah, and they've got to be aware of a potential flank from B site, but they just got to make their way onto C here fast. And the
Wow.
oh gosh, the shotgun just comes in with ace. That UMD is not going to make that mistake again, because they have paid for that, you know, the price of taking those close range fights against the Bucky and Judge a couple times so far.
Yeah, they got to really do something about this Judge here. I mean, just the quick rotates from the get-go is making it harder, because now you figure out where the Judge is in the first place, and then the get-go's already on another site. But the get-go does not go with the Judge again this round.
Oh, what a shot from the Neon on Savannah State, taking down Soap early on. But a trade did come through for UMD, so we're looking at an even matchup right now. But look at spike control. UMD has suddenly lost spike, and now they're going to have to fight for it again. And Savannah State is also trying to hold down the spike because they have eyes on it, so it's just going to become a bit of a brawl towards spawn right outside of A. UMD does not have great guns, but Savannah, regardless, able to get things started off with a Sheriff, and she continues. Great shot from Savannah. Gotta beware of this deadlock, though, creeping up B. They might flank, but regardless, UMD should have numbers.
They have 3 ults here to use, so it wouldn't be a bad idea just to use one of these ults and guarantee the round.
I totally agree, considering they might be able to pick up a few guns, but it doesn't matter anyway, because Savannah had a great round and she found 3 for herself, and in doing so, she gave 3 UMD players guns.
Yeah, that was great. And Carrot's ability just to get those first couple picks too was crucial, and just converting this round into UMD's hands. And the Gecko, with some very, very non-traditional guns this game, pulls out the Odin.
The Valorant, you know, the GC Premier team has certainly seen their fair share of Odins. If you remember last stream that they were in the studio, they had to deal with that you know, difficulty with the Odin, especially on Ascent and these maps that are wall bangable. So they have, once they figure out this Odin is, I'm sure they're gonna work on countering it as soon as possible. But regardless, they're looking to start off this round pretty similar to what we've seen in the past. Nothing different. They're being really passive and they're really taking their time on Lotus so far, and they might just walk right into this Odin. It's positioned perfectly to, you know, catch where UMD is going to be entering from. Carrot's going to smoke it off, though, so maybe the day is saved.
And the Gecko does start firing the Odin, so they know that there is an Odin in play. And it does look like they're going to switch up and go to C.
Yeah, classic C attempt to execute the site like we've seen from the Terps multiple times this game. They are not afraid of this deadlock utility because they are going to use KJ to try and draw people off of this site and make their way to hopefully get the bomb down and just rely on their post plant. Soap has all her utility pretty much, with the exception of her alarm bot, to work off of here, so certainly I hope they play a little bit more passive after they get this bomb down.
Yeah, they do have a lot of utility to work with. Soap definitely has a lot of her KJ util to help delay. And the raise does get Trace. Their ultimates coming out left and right.
Yeah, an expensive round for both sides. Diffuse trying to come through for Savannah State, but Hammy's playing close and is going to swing at any moment. Takes down the Odin, but she does get traded. The rest of the Terps are going to play really passively towards C Mound, relying on the remaining teammates to ping that spike and just spray through that smoke. Savannah State is going to have to put up some sort of meat shield if they want to defuse this thing in time, or they just kill both of them and push through aggressively. Also an option. Savannah State takes that round.
Yeah, I mean, even with just the two duelist comp, Neon herself is a very aggressive duelist, or just a really aggressive character in the first place. So that's kind of what you want to see from a Neon, and UMD's really got to adapt to this, or just to that aggression specifically.
And the judge is back in business. So UMD's got to sniff out where that thing is and counter it, hopefully in a long-range fight, ideally, considering UMD has pretty much all long-range weapons in hand.
Looks like they might be opting towards an A hit, maybe. Just backing up a little bit, just to give themselves a little bit of space so they don't get caught by any lingering utility from the Rays or Neon.
Yeah, Savannah's just trying to make C presence. I might sense a fake here, considering that's not where Spike is headed at all. And Savannah, though, selling it very well as she is able to find that deadlock.
Oh, but the judge here.
Oh, and the judge just causing so many problems for UMD. Finally, Carrots able to get that thing out of the game, but still UMD has to deal with losing a player as a result of that judge, and they're going to try to take B quickly. They got to be aware of this Neon sitting in from Breakable. She gets stunned, but it's this Omen who's able to peek out and avoid the stun, find two of the UMD players, and Carrots gets cleaned up as well. And these rounds just have not been looking good for the Terps recently.
Yeah, they really got to do something, because attack is really the side that you want to shine on. Make sure that you're up at half, just because of the 3 sites. 3 sites makes defense very, very hard to play. But Savannah State's already playing defense really well. I mean, they're taking a lot of much-needed space and essentially locking out A from ever being hit. I don't think we've really seen any aggression going in towards A main, because they always stick 3 players there, like this time too. But we do see some aggression from Savannah, and Carrot is able to trade out. But Savannah State does take 2 more. It's a lot of space that UMD's lost, but Savannah State's really aggressive here. They might be able to capitalize off of this.
Player standing.
Yeah, Savannah State just pushing through, trying to find Soap here. And they just have all the numbers advantage in the world, so they're able to swing collectively. And like you said, it's tricky because they have that deadlock on C site, and then on A, they have all this aggression from that Neon, from the Rays. So it's difficult. On B, they have to deal with the shotguns, so there's really no good options if they're UMD.
Yeah, Savannah State's playing this really defensively. You're using every gun, every ability possible. They have C on lockdown with the deadlock, B in control of the Gecko with the judge, and they're putting 3 people, or typically 2 people, but plus the Omen in by Breakable. And we do have a pretty good coach cam of the Game Changers coach Dusty. I think he's really talking to these players about just the aggression that Savannah State has been shown for the beginning of this game.
Yeah, this is going to be about finding a specific planned site execute in order to just get 1 round going and then build some momentum off of that. But they have got to, cook up some sort of plan here, because it feels like that's what they've been lacking a couple times, is a plan. Because I feel like they panic as soon as, one site doesn't work out, you go to the other and there's suddenly a judge in your face or a deadlock wall. And so if they can just kind of work out, maybe all push together is something I don't think they've done, try to overwhelm these players who are solo holding sites, something of that nature. But gotta watch out for this op on A in the hands of the Neon.
And they're gonna take it really aggressively down C, maybe trying to catch the deadlock off guard.
And Carrots did get a concuss off of this deadlock, so I'd really like to see UMD come in fast, and they have. They pushed a deadlock off of Sae. She's still alive, though. Regardless, UMD should be able to get bombed down and hopefully play a successful post plant. But this deadlock causing so many issues from CT, and now she has the help of the Raze. And UMD are suddenly in a numbers down post plant scenario, and so much util just getting thrown at their face. Hammy, though, holding her ground down, does get traded, but Trace is there to help out in from Mound, and it's just all up to Soap in a 1v2. She finds the first person, and now she knows that this deadlock is on the bomb. She has utility to work with, gonna pop a molly, knows the deadlock has to be off of that, but just doesn't know which side that deadlock headed. So UMD cannot come out with a round win even after this timeout.
Yeah, Soap was able to delay just a little bit of time. I think maybe a second nade would have been helpful there, but she just wasn't really expecting the deadlock to swing pretty close.
Yeah, she just had to kind of guess what side that deadlock decided to go on, and she was looking the wrong way, unfortunately. But that was certainly a close round. But still, you would love to see them come out with a win after that timeout, especially.
Yeah, I think they really got to target getting the first pick of the round here, because like last round, all of the Savannah State players were able to do a 5-man retake, which really just isn't what you want if you're UMD.
Now, hopefully UMD has better guns to work with. They're up against pretty much a full buy every single round. So they're going to have to either pull off a thrifty or work out some sort of win. And we are, I think, back into the game.
One enemy remaining.
I think we're having some technical difficulties on the broadcast end, so just bear with us. And we are back into the game. And UMD is not looking like they're having a super successful round, and this operator is still in play from the previous round. So that is certainly going to deter UMD from taking A site.
Yeah, they really got to find a round win here, because if they're still stuck on two round wins by the time they get to defense, it's not going to really do much for their mental and stuff. They're going to have a long way to come back here, and Savannah State's looking to really close this one out pretty quickly.
And hopefully when UMD transitions to defense, they're going to be able to figure something out. Just a matter of taking as many attacking rounds as you can and hoping you just get into more of a rhythm on defense. Looks like this time they're planning on going towards B side. This time the Gecko holding a different angle than usual, still very close with a judge. Gonna actually try and peek through this smoke, so hopefully UMD uses some breach utility to try and push him off that angle. Or they might double back towards C site, but oh, this Neon's positioning could be deadly, and there's actually another off for Savannah State. This time it's in the hands of this deadlock, and that is going to take down 2 UMD players to start off this round. Savannah, though, able to respond, finds a pick for herself, but gets traded not soon after. And now UMD no longer has spike control, and they're just going to have to figure something out here, and Soap just gets overwhelmed by numbers.
They just stayed a little too long in B main there. They still have a lot of ults to work with, and they definitely could have used the breach ult just off rip there, and before any of the Savannah State players rotated. But they do have 4 ults to work with this round. So does Savannah State. So this might be a pretty big battle for a site.
It's really interesting, too, that Savannah State's alternating who's holding the op. It was the Neon, and then it was the Deadlock. Now it's back to the Neon. I think that's going to keep UMD guessing. And looks like for almost what seems like the first time in a while, we're seeing UMD try to execute a site. Breakable has been taken down, so that's another angle they gotta watch out for this Gecko, who's gonna play close with a judge. Cloud Sheriff tries to find an opening pick, not going to find anything there as UMD uses their Fade ultimate from Trace to try and make their way onto the site. Looks like they're gonna be able to do so successfully along with the help of Astra and KJ ultimate, forcing Savannah into a retake here. But we've seen them be super deadly on retakes, so hopefully UMD able to hold their ground down. Not looking great off the start as Savannah gets taken down, and there's just a lot of aggression from Heaven here. And we're just seeing back and forth trades. I really do like Carrot's positioning, though. She can remain quiet and just kind of sneak up behind. And Trace is silent right below Hell, able to find one. And Carrots gets the rest
Carrots!
done. Great
Very
job.
good shots there.
Yeah, amazing shots from Carrots. Great positioning also from Trace, just being super quiet right below Hell, waiting for that drop to happen. So we are at 9-3. And the Terps are now going to be on defense. And, you know, like I said, this is just hoping that they're able to find a bit more of a rhythm on defense than they were on attack. I know this is typically an attack-sided map, but you never know.
Yeah, I think that last round did kind of still get their footing in the game. They're not out of this. I mean, we've seen a lot of teams come back from a 9-3 curse. So it's really crucial that UMD win this pistol round, because that just gives them the confidence they need just to get back into this game. Even though Savannah State's a really good team, UMD is also a very good team as well, and they have a lot of potential just to get back into this game.
UMD pretty spread out. Looks like they kind of put most of their bets towards A side, but that is not where they're heading. They're going to have to rely on Soap's setup to hold down C, but she does get taken down. A little bit of damage done with her setup, but regardless, C site looks like it's going to be in the hands of Savannah State. UMD forced to do a pistol retake. Looks like they're trying to approach from all different sides here. Trace from CT, Carrots from B-Link, and the rest of the crew from Mound.
Yeah, if this works out the way they want to, this is a very good pinch, because Savannah State is locked into the site, and if they use their utility right, then that's a free retake.
Savannah satchels through the smoke, but Trace and Savannah both get taken down, trying to peek out of the smoke. Carrots is the only person who's able to find any sort of success there, but not enough considering you're in a 1v5 situation at the end of that.
Yeah, they delayed that retake just a little too long, I think. I don't think all the players really retook together and at the same time. But it was still a very impressive retake and caused a lot of chaos. I think even with the breach stun into back sight, along with the Fade Eye, it was a lot of util, but just didn't work out. Savannah State just really held their ground there.
And once again, Savannah State looking to take C site. This time, Salty Soap does not have any sort of setup in place to really hold down any sort of defense, and she just is going to run off of this site and take so much damage due to the spray coming in from Waterfall. Savannah State's going to be able to get this bomb down for a second time in a row, and this time, hopefully UMD able to pull off more of a coordinated retake than they did last time. Like you were saying, if they have to work on this timing to peak angles together and make fights more favorable using utility, but they're not going to have a whole lot of utility because this is a save round. And Carrots gets taken down from CT, Savannah, and Trace, quick to follow as well. Suddenly, things are not looking great for UMD yet again. They're just winning their 1v1 fights. So able to find a pick to avoid the flawless, but regardless, Savannah State had another successful attack round yet again on that C site.
Yeah, that Gecko and their shotguns. I mean, man, they've probably gotten most of their kills. They're 18-8. They've probably gotten most of their kills from shotguns. Just pretty crazy. And Dusty again calling another timeout. They are on their bye round, so this is probably their last chance to get back into this game.
I agree. Yeah, if they lose their bye round, that's going to put Savannah State at 12, which is match point. So at that point, your only hope is overtime. So there's Coach Dusty. Thank you, Coach Cam. Trying to spread some words of wisdom to try and probably at this point more so boost morale. Try and, make this about, okay, we're going to get this round and then the rest will come later.
Yeah, and I think even if UMD does lose this map, they have some pretty good maps left to come with. I don't exactly know the entire map rotation, but like you were talking to Trace earlier during the interview, their best maps are Ascent and Haven. So if either of those are in rotation, then we've got a pretty good game going on there.
Yeah, I would take a guess that this is not their pick, and this was probably Savannah State's pick, because typically, like we said, I haven't seen, either the GC roster or the Premier roster opt to play Lotus. So if I had to guess, I would say that they're feeling a bit out of their element here. So hopefully they're able to reel it in on map 2 if they do end up losing this game. But it's not over yet. Hopefully if they're able to just win this crucial round, they can start to gain some momentum. But it is really all about this round. And it's not off to a great start as Savannah, which is their entry, gets taken down. Looking towards A side, UMD just really has no option here but to, rotate or respond based off of this and potentially cook up a flank maybe. Looks like that's where Carrots might be heading. Okay. But they've got to help out here onto B or A because it does look like there's going to be a fast B rotate. And Trace is really the only person on B. Here, Soap is going to help back her up a little bit, but Savannah State's in a bit of an awkward position, just kind of scrunched in, near breakable. They could really pick either side at this point. Carrot's still being quite quiet and patient, waiting on that flank.
Find you.
Yeah, this flank from Carrots could really get the momentum UMD needs just to win this map, or win this round at least, because they're down 4 players, but Trey's taking a lot of damage just from the spray and smoke.
And the decision has been made to take B side by Savannah State. UMD has to be aggressive to keep this side, and it's working out beautifully for them as Trace and Hammy both find 1, and Savannah State is now at a numbers disadvantage, or they're barely at a numbers advantage, but the HP is not looking good for UMD. Carrots just a couple HP away from death. 1 shot would probably do it for her.
I think she's going to opt to save here with her Vandal, which is really the smart move, because then that gives you just 1 more gun to fight with and match point. But maybe the Neon might be looking for where Carrots is.
And like we said, that was a pretty crucial round for UMD, especially since those are the only buy you're able to kind of work out, and now you only have 1 solid gun to work with, and it's in the hands of Carrots. And Carrots is an incredible player, but it's just hard when you don't have, the rest of your full shields, proper guns, and you're going up against a buy like this, like an Odin or, an Outlaw, Vandals, all that.
Yeah, this might be a really good, I want to say, gamble stack with Savannah on C site with a Judge as well as the KJ util.
And Savannah State really hasn't split up in their attacks. UMD hopefully going to get that play call soon. So much aggression from this Raze on Savannah State, going to take down Savannah, and the rest of the team for Savannah State just going to follow in right after her. Raze continuing to make things so difficult for UMD, and all this utility too is just going to force UMD to slow down their retakes. So much utility, the nades, the walls coming in from all different directions for Savannah State.
I think Soap is trapped in the deadlock wall, does get traded.
1 enemy remaining.
And now down to a 1v4 to win the first game of the series, and it is not looking in her favor. Look at all that Odin spam, look at all this utility. But she is not going down without a fight, as Carrots able to just wreak a little bit of havoc on the back end of this thing. But time is ticking down, and UMD will lose the first map of this best of 3.
Yeah, even for second map, it's really important they come into the second round of this match just heads held high and kind of regain that confidence they had at the beginning of the match.
Like you said, it's all about confidence, and hopefully UMD will, think about how they want to head into this next map. Hopefully it's one that they feel a little bit more comfortable on, like you said, Haven, Ascent, but we'll see how they do, and we'll catch you guys right after a quick commercial break for our second map.
Terp Adventures. Take flight at Stamp. Host to countless Maryland events, programs, performances, and more. Feed your body, feed your mind, feed your soul. Let your talents soar. Dance, sing, perform, find your thing. Join more than 800 student organizations and clubs. Find community here. Leadership lives here. Art thrives here. With space to grow, we're all just kids at heart. Let your imagination fly. Compete. Play. With wings on our feet. Here your spirit can fly. Here your soul lifts up. Here you remember those who came before. This is STAM. This is the Center for Campus Life, where Terp adventures take flight. You belong here. Come fly with us.
I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Off game, or will red turn things around?
Your ad tech stack is simple, streamlined, and easy to manage, right? Yeah, right. If you're in ad tech, then you know you have a problem. Ad tech is messy, and your tech stack includes way too many tools to effectively manage. At Playwire, we're here to uncomplicate your ad tech stack. We've consolidated the entire publisher ad tech stack into a single platform and added in proprietary technology and advanced tools to generate you even higher CPMs. Get access to an ad tech stack that is simpler and smarter.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are going to be heading into our second map in the best of 3, and like we said, we are finally on a more comfortable map pick for UMD. We're going to be heading on to Ascent.
Yeah, like we said, Lotus just wasn't their map. We don't really see that commonly played. I guess even throughout all the UMD teams. But going into Ascent, as like we said earlier, Ascent's more streamlined in terms of character or just agent composition. So we'll probably see that KJ, the Jet, the Sova, KO, and probably the Omen as well. But I mean, given carrots, we might even see an Astra.
Yeah, and we are
Quite
going
possible.
to. Yeah, certainly. She did pretty well on Astra with her utility. And we are going to be heading on attack to start things off, if I remember correctly. Which is. I like that, because I think what we need at this moment is kind of a confidence boost, and we just need to feel more like, comfortable where we are. So I think on attack is the place to do that. Just really to be the one setting the tone and not responding to it, because I feel like in the last game it was mostly Savannah State that was setting the tone, and UMD kind of just having to roll with the punches a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Even that just kind of revolves around, whether or not it's your map pick. I mean, in all of competitive and pro play, it's like, if you have a map pick, that's kind of your map to win. That's really you set the tempo, like you said, and it really just helps your confidence, even just going in, because we all know that UMD has a pretty high win percentage on Ascent. So this has got to be pretty confident for them to go in, because they've played this map over and over and over again. So it's just kind of like a Monday evening for them.
And Savannah had a great game last map, but let's look at her stats yet again. Keep in mind, she is our duelist. Again, highest ACS and ADR for the team. She performed really well last game, but I think on Ascent, they're especially going to rely on her entrying in order to make this attack work. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her on a Jet potentially.
Yeah, and I think even with the Jet, it'd be pretty cool to see her pull out an op. I think on Ascent, if you really use Jet and position yourself well, an op could grant you a lot of impact.
Yeah, I would love to see a KJ like you mentioned, and I do suspect we're gonna see definitely an Odin, since we already saw that on Lotus, which is typically not like a super common map to pull out the Odin on, but Ascent is, especially on B site. UMD is going to have to be aware as they're making their execute onto B. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw shotguns yet again, because that seemed to be something that Savannah State was pretty comfortable using, and it worked out great for them. I mean, that Gecko, it was real high on that kill board, so wouldn't be surprised if they decided to roll with that again. Here we are into Agent Select. Carrot's going to opt for the Omen, and Savannah, like we said, going for Jet this time. Really excited to see her on Jet, like you said. Would love to see an op moment, especially from mid. Great opping potential there. Soap's going to be on KJ for the second time in a row. And in terms of initiators, looking at 2 initiators for UMD, Trace and Hammy.
I do see the Reyna hover.
Oh,
Yoru! This is interesting.
Yeah, Savannah State's pulling out all the curveballs for this one. And last time, we saw the same player do super well on Neon. So I really don't have any doubt that they'll be able to do well on Yoru. It's all a matter of how UMD responds. And they are going to be on the attack first. So like we said, this first pistol round is going to be about setting this tone and just feeling out, where Savannah State is placing which player, and respond based off of that.
Yeah, and I mean, even just in terms of utility, Savannah State doesn't really have any information gathering utility. They have a ton of flashes from the Yoru and Gecko, but there's nothing to really get information on where players are, whereas UMD, typical Ascent comp, they have both a decent amount of, or just a good balance between flashes and and info gathering util with the Sova Dart and the KO knife.
And UMD look grouped together towards A for the most part. They do have a lurk though on B site, which I wonder if that's going to be a consistent thing for them round after round. We're going to have to see how that goes in terms of throwing Savannah State off. But similarly to what we saw in Lotus, looks like UMD's just a bit passive to start things off. But they are showing a lot of mid presence and are pushing in heavy into tree. Not going to find any kills there, but Savannah's not really interested in kills as she's just trying to dash through, make way onto site for her teammates in order to get this bomb down, so they're able to do quickly. They're going to have to watch out from Heaven though, as it looks like that is where Savannah State is trying to make their retake happen from. Carrots finds that first pick. I believe that Yoru was Heaven. So Heaven's getting held down well by UMD so far. They gotta watch out for Tree as well though, that one way being thrown from Carrots. And Soap's going to use that one way to her advantage. Carrots holding down Heaven in the meantime and doing a great job at it as she finds 3 from there. But UMD just making it so difficult for Savannah State to retake, and they get this thing started off on the right foot.
Yeah, that was a very good post plan. It looked very coordinated, and that's kind of what we want to see, especially on a map like Ascent, where it's obviously UMD's map pick. But Carrots had a very good positioning there, just kind of holding that off angle by Generator, and netted herself 3 kills off of that, which is really, really good for the pistol round. And even that kill from Tree, that kind of helped UMD, because every other player was just funneling straight out of Heaven, and that's where they had most of their util set up at. But this shotgun might be really, really annoying to deal with.
Oh, look at this off angle Carrots was holding. That is so cool. She has to get off of that now that they know where she is. But that was really cool to see. And like you said, looks like UMD's grouping towards B. Gotta check this corner 100% for the shotgun. Or if you use a KO knife, that's an option too. But no, looks like they're just gonna double swing and it's gonna work out great as Savannah finds an amazing shot with her Sheriff. And she's not done as she finds another right after, quickly dashing out onto site. Gotta get rid of this KJ though, who has a setup in the lane. Savannah down to 9 HP.
Ooh, this turret could very well kill her there. Still stays alive, getting the trade down on site. And Savannah still does have a really good position here.
Yeah, she can certainly get a kill here, and that's exactly what she does with that Sheriff clinging on to 1 HP. Close call, as you can see by her face there, but she did a great job that round with her Deagle.
Yeah, it was that was a really good usage of the Sheriff there, and I don't really think she bought much, really, so that her bank account must be looking pretty good, and it is. I mean, she's able to buy a Vandal, full shields, and still have some left over for next round.
So this has been a great start so far, and they have been just a bit more aggressive than they typically were on Lotus. Like you said, I think it's because they feel more comfortable on this map.
And like you said earlier, looking at the Odin, the Gecko on Savannah State has already purchased the Odin. But this might not be, the Odin might not be used to its full advantage just because they don't have any info and can't really spray accurately through walls.
And the first bit of information Savannah State's going to get is Carrots shooting that alarm bot on B site, but it's not going to be too useful as that's not where UMD's planning on hitting. Instead, they're going to take all this mid space that they can get, maybe work through Tree again. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a regroup right outside of Tree, because that worked out so well for them last time. But they got to get this Gecko out of the equation with that Odin if they want to take any Tree space. And I wouldn't be surprised if this Odin spam came through any second now, and it does. It's able to find both Savannah and Soap. And now UMD has got to take care of this Odin if they want to make their way on to A site.
30 seconds left.
And like I said, Odin just being so deadly for them into Tree. Carrots, though, in a 1v3 cannot come out on the other end of it. And UMD's got to be frustrated after letting that Odin cause so much damage.
Yeah, I just don't... This Gecko is kind of like a wild card. It's really hard to expect what they're going to play. And it didn't look like they saved the Odin, so the Gecko's going to run a Bucky.
And that's just going to be so unexpected for UMD, because if, you know, they find so much success and so many kills off of this Odin and they stay alive, you expect that they're going to keep this Odin coming into the next round. But no, opting for a Bucky.
And the positioning of the Gecko is really hard to track. I think even with the Omen smoke here, I can't tell if this is a defensive or offensive Omen smoke, but the Jet trying to get a little aggressive out in A main, but Hammy says no.
And Hammy's just sitting, waiting for more aggression, and sitting is kind of what UMD in general is doing right now. Hammy and Trace looking like they want to group up together towards B side. I do like Carrot's positioning here, though, waiting for you rotate through mid once noise starts to be made on B side, as it's going to be shortly, as they have got to get this alarm bot out of the way if they want to take any space here. Savannah looking like she's going to ready to dash out into sight. Yoru and KJ are going to be here, so it's all about finding that KJ pick on site and clearing CT in order to get this plant down.
Carrot with a huge flank, and Market could very well get the Omen right here.
And yeah, great job for Carrots, and she might be even find more value off of this flank, and she does as she tries to swing CT to find a third. And she does so in a fashionable manner. Great job from Carrots. I really just liked her positioning to start that round off, just being super patient in mid, waiting till her team draws in those rotates to flank.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how you play Omen. Carrots is a very good example of how to play a lurking agent. You really stay in mid, wait for the perfect time to flank, and then you just get so much value off of it, because she took all control of Market there and was able to get more value off of her Omen flash.
Now UMD group together towards A. There's going to be A aggression, though, from Savannah State. This Yoru was pushed up so close, trying to pick Savannah off. TP's out back to safety into tree. But this Jetson generator going to take down Trace. Hammy responds, though, with the trade. So A is still certainly an option for UMD. They got a closed door, though. Can't do so in time. Hammy gets taken down. But Soap gets that trade off. Carrots, what a shot from Heaven to find that Gecko. And that is certainly a relief for UMD having that Gecko out of this round.
Savannah positioned really aggressive here. Is not able to get one, but still does a lot of damage. It's now a 2v2.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of damage done. So Carrots can just spray through this box and hopefully find this Yoru, but no, not able to finish the job there. And now there's only Soap, who's going to be A main, trying to play this bomb and play time to best of her ability. This is winnable considering the HP on the other side, but she's going to have to play some mind games in order to pull this one off. Able to take down that Yoru, like we said, such low HP, but the real challenge is going to be taking down this KJ and just buying enough time for the spike to tick down. And she's just dancing around, peeking that angle, but she plays time to her advantage in order to win that round.
Yeah, well played from there. A little unlucky on Carrot's side. You know, she just really wasn't able to hit that last shot that she needed onto the Yoru. But Soap able to close out the round in a 2v1, and the Gecko yet again buys another Bucky. I think the Gecko's bought this quite a lot, so UMD might be able to just by intuition think that the Gecko is going to play a ratty corner with a Bucky. It's just a matter of where.
Look at the B aggression this time from Savannah State. All the alarm bells are going to go off for UMD as the turret shot down, and that Bucky already causing issues takes down Carrots. That is not the player you want to see get taken down for UMD so early. All those smokes now not in your toolkit. So UMD has got to respond based off of that. Trace, though, great peek out from mid. And now she has to catch up with the rest of her team, who's currently taking B site. This KJ, though, staying boathouse like she did in the previous round. Last time it wasn't an issue for UMD, but they have got to take her down quickly. Great shot from Savannah, denying those jet knives. Is going to be huge later in the round, and this KJ finally gets taken down into Boathouse, and this round looks like it's going swimmingly for UMD with the exception of this Gecko who's still alive with a Bucky. The dart is going to reveal his location though, and Savannah looking to approach from CT side, and Gecko's going to be a little bit scared of that, try to fall back into their corners, hoping that the UMD takes a close range fight, but they're not going to give it to the Gecko quite yet.
Yeah, I think the objective here is just to survive and not give the Gecko, well, the Gecko just got a gun, so I think the Gecko's objective here is just to survive and hold on to that gun. But we're seeing a trend here with the Gecko and just buying shotguns, I think. UMD is starting to see it as well, really playing their corners a little bit safe. Carrots was taken down at the beginning of the round, but even still, there's so many corners the Gecko hasn't played yet. So you just gotta infer by intuition on where the Gecko's playing.
We also haven't seen an Odin spam through B main yet, which I'm surprised because I feel like that's the go-to place for an Odin. But when we did see the Odin, it was actually placed tree. So that's something UMD has got to be thinking about in the back of their minds too, is when is this Odin going to come back into play, and when it is, where is it going to be positioned? So it does look like this time they're planning on taking B side in the face of all of this KJ setup. Savannah taking space aggressively through mid might catch this Omen if they decide to push up and into market, which it looks like that's exactly what they're planning to do. And
they gotta
Yoru
be really careful about this Yoru with the shotgun. Yoru does have their ults, which can be very bad because this closes a ton of distance.
Down B.
And a trade comes through for UMD, but they have to be aware of this Yoru ultimate, which he just got out of and just got a kill out of actually with the shotgun. And suddenly it all goes wrong for UMD as they get picked off before they're able to get bombed down. And Savannah State got their second round win on defense.
Yeah, UMD has been saving up on ults here. I think it's about time we start seeing some ults. They're one away from the KJ ult, but they also have the KO and Sova ults, and really if they need to, Savannah could pop her jet ult or pop her knives and kind of go off. I mean, we've seen her go off multiple times with jet knives, and it's very, very entertaining to watch, but they really got to start working around these ults just to build a lot more momentum and shut Savannah State out. And they do start with the KO ult.
This is a great ult to entry off of, but Hammy gets taken down early. Hopefully she's going to be able to get a revive from one of her teammates, and yeah, Trace comes through with that. And Savannah also popped her knives, but not going to find any value off of it as UMB's just getting picked off as they try to entry to the site. I really like Soap's positioning, being super quiet on the flank here. Lots of trigger discipline, spots the shoulder of one of the Savannah State players, but going to wait till she has an optimal angle to fire. And she does so, finds two, and cannot find the third, though, on the other side of it.
It was still very good flank from Soap there. It's just a little weird on timing because if she got both of those players in market, that would have been very, very chaotic for Savannah State, because now they have to, or now they're down into even numbers and they got to worry about one player on site and one player in market, which would have given Carrots a little bit more breathing room.
And right now, this is about UMD shutting down the momentum that Savannah State's been able to get. Just 2 more rounds and they'll be all tied up. So UMD's got to respond and find another win under their belt just to kind of take these guns and this economy advantage out of Savannah State's hands before it gets too out of hand.
Soap does have her ults. The nice thing is because Savannah State is not playing a Sova, there's nothing to break the KJ ult. They can counter KJ ult with their own KJ to just kind of trade ults that way, but the Gecko already picking off Carrots really early into the round.
And this Gecko's looking to hold down mid as a result, but they gotta watch their back as it looks like Soap might be trying to make their way into B. Great shot through that smoke. That's gotta hurt if you're Soap. But on the other side of the map, things are going well as the aggression pays off for UMD, and there's no one left really to defend A site. They have to watch out for Tree, though. That's where they're going to find most of their problems. Trace able to find a trade off of there for Hammy. But Trace just might get wallbanged here. No, it's the Gecko Molly that's going to do her in, as her HP was just so low. And Savannah's round by round crawling back into this.
Yeah, I think UMD might have to go on a save for this round. Still looking to maybe buy some guns here. Trace maybe looking to hold on to a Guardian. Or Savannah going in for a Hero Vandal here. This might be what they need. They really need to work around Savannah and find those early round picks just to give the team some guns to use.
Carrot's just peeking out through mid, trying to find somebody peeking out of Tree. Not gonna find it quite yet. This time UMD's heavily focused on mid presence, which I like, because if they're able to take this Gecko down, that's gonna relieve some stress on their side, as this Gecko has been really hard to counter.
Oh yeah, I really agree. I mean, this Gecko has been popping off a lot, but that KO flash did not hit, which was really unlucky, but a pretty lucky moving shot there from the Gecko onto Carrots.
Yeah, unfortunate that that flash didn't pop. And this Gecko still somehow alive. UMD not able to take him down quite yet. And they're just going to throw mollies towards UMD, and it's going to make Spike fall in Savannah State's lap. And now they have full Spike control. Only Soap and Savannah left for UMD, and they are far, far apart.
30 seconds left.
So now that they've grouped together, they might be able to take on this 2v2. They're forced to. They have no other option, though. So Savannah's trying to be aggressive off of it, but this Gecko making things so difficult. Down to a 1v1 with Savannah versus the Gecko. HP looking in Savannah's favor, but this ultimate is just going to make things impossible for Savannah.
Yeah, there's nothing you could really do. I was hoping she updrafted and maybe kind of dodged the ult there.
That's true. Good advice.
And Savannah State looking to buy an op, which would be very, very detrimental for UMD here. And Dusty does call a timeout, and I think this is a perfect time for a timeout too, because now you can take a step back from the game and kind of slow the momentum that Savannah State has been building up.
Like you said, this is all about stopping Savannah State's momentum, and that operator is just kind of lingering there. A little bit scary, because this is the first time I believe that operator has been purchased into this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how UMD responds to that, especially since they've been looking at mid a lot and taking mid control. That's most likely where that operator is going to be placed. But right now, I think UMD's main problem is this Gecko.
Yeah, the Gecko has been, really kind of using a lot of niche guns that we don't see much, like a Judge, Bucky, and even the last game in Op. Actually, I don't think the Gecko used an Op last game.
Yeah.
Never mind that. But it's still, the Gecko is very skilled, and that's something they really got to look out for and work around. They're just starting to get a hand of it and figure it out. But the Gecko maybe BMing a little bit in chat, throwing some question marks there.
And this KJ ultimate is going to deter UMD from B-side. Instead, they're forced to look mid, which isn't where the op is placed. Surprisingly, instead the op is placed towards B-side. And not sure if UMD's deciding to take that yet. They do throw a dart towards Tree, does scan the Omen. So they have some information to work off of, but still looks like they're considering B. Operators actually rotated off of B side, so this is actually a good idea for them, especially with Salty Soap's KJ ultimate going to draw off any remaining defenders off of this bomb site, and Smoke's going to come in for Carrots to try and smoke off this operator. 2 players detained though. So I would love to see them be aggressive off of this, and this operator causing issues for Trace. Oh, and they gotta watch out for this flank. KJ, Turret gonna send off the alarm bells. Carrots trying to tuck away in this corner, and watch flank. She is able to take down this flank, but all that's left is this Gecko, and this has been the player that's been causing the most issues for UMD, so it's super important that they're able to shut this thing down early and not let things get too out of hand. If this Gecko is able to find 1 or 2 picks, they are right back into this thing. Oh, and I don't think Carrots spotted them peeking out into garage. Instead, the KG utility is going to be what sets off the alarm bells in lane, and that's going to prompt Hammy to swing and find that pick. And that is a great way to come out of the timeout.
Yeah, what a great shot from Hammy there on the Gecko, just peeking out and instantly killing the Gecko. That just shows the proper crosshair placement that you really want to have in these games. But even that post plant, there was a lot of chaos going into the site execution with the op just everywhere. But UMD was still able to handle that pretty well, and amidst all the chaos, find some common ground with each other and pull something together.
And we do see an Odin purchase from the Gecko. I'm surprised we haven't seen more, but it looks like they're going to look mid within, considering peeking out of the smoke into 4 UMD players, but they're able to find 2, and they're going to look for Savannah tucked behind boxes. But instead it's this Omen that's able to kill Savannah. What a play from Savannah State. And now UMB's forced to double back and take care of mid before pushing any further. But that Omen flash is going to make things so difficult for UMD, and they just get stopped in their tracks and were able to take little to no space that round.
Yeah, that Gecko just walking straight out of mid just really hurt them. I think somebody should have at least been watching the smoke just to see if anybody was going to push out. But UMD on their comfort side now, on the defensive side, so they have a lot of things to work with. Even they can also counter it with their own Odins and shotguns and maybe even op. I would really like to see an op from Savannah here. That would be a pretty interesting experience for us.
And it looks like they're opting to put 3 of their defenders onto A site, which is going to be the right call, as it does look like this is going to be an A execute from Savannah State. Savannah's going to get that call in early for her teammates as she spots almost the whole team pushing through A main and forced to back up behind Jenny with Hammy. And now Savannah State looking to pull a fast rotate into mid, where Carrots is waiting with a classic. Spots 2 Savannah State players, not able to find a pick, but does just a little bit of, or does actually a lot of damage on both that Yoru and the Jet, which is going to help later in the round, certainly. But I really like that Savannah and Hammy have held down A site, because it does look like Savannah State is doubling back towards there. This is a great crossfire, especially since the HP is looking not great on the other side. It's working out beautifully for the both of them as they're able to find 2. Savannah does get taken down, and of course Hammy to back up a little bit, but not before she finds a pick for herself. But regardless, sight is in the hands of Savannah State so far, especially with door being closed, going to lend them a little bit more protection. So now UMB is going to be forced to work around this door and play together here in a 2v2 retake.
Turn out.
It's very crucial for UMD to peak at the same time together.
And the Omen Flash is going to make things hard, but Trace able to come out on the other end of it and continue pushing up through Jenny. Does a lot of damage, but Soap is not looking like she has a lot of HP either. It's a KJ versus KJ low HP battle. Soap comes out on the other end of it, victorious with the right click.
Yeah, it was definitely a nail biter going into that last little bit of the round. But the crossfire that we saw was very, very effective. That was a very good crossfire from Savannah and who else was it?
It was Savannah and Hammy.
Hammy, right. But even just holding down a site like that for quite a while, which allowed both Trace and Soap just to rotate, sorry, relatively quickly.
Placing swarm grenade.
Yeah, great round for the Terps to get things started on defense. This time, it looks like Soap's gonna set up her setup onto B site, but that is not where Savannah State's gonna take. Instead, they're gonna walk up into tree, and we see another crossfire by Savannah and Hammy yet again. This time, Savannah gets taken out early into the game. Hammy responds though with the trade and finds 2-3 for herself into tree. Great job from Hammy holding down the fort in from A site.
And that is also spike down. So they have full control this round. They just got to be really careful about all these different points that Savannah State could come through.
Oh, and Hammy's just not looking that way. Carrots, though, is. But Soap is going to be able to find that pick, and now it's all up to this one last jet, and it's no problem for Soap as she's able to take her down from tree. And that was a stellar round for Hammy.
Yeah, I mean, even just being able to get 3 kills off of one magazine of the Bulldog is pretty crazy. I mean, if it was me, I probably would have been freaking out like, oh my gosh, I have only a couple bullets left. But Hammy's like full confidence.
Yeah. And it paid off beautifully for her. I love the little plushie in that graphic. But yeah, she's been doing really well this series so far, and she is not typically playing with this team. She's filling in actually this game, but she's doing a great job.
Yeah, a lot of these crossfires that Hammy and Savannah have been doing just shows the chemistry that they have. Even though that Hammy's, like you said, a backup, she just does not look like a backup. She looks like a very good teammate to have. And Carrots getting a lot of damage and able to secure a kill in mid.
Great job by Carrots, although she does get traded off the back end of it. And UMD is leaving A pretty much undefended. And I think Savannah State's going to get that read sooner rather than later, as looks like that Yoru and KJ are peeking in from main, spotting that there's no one there, not even any utility or any form of setup. So they are likely going to be able to get this bomb down, forcing UMD into a retake. I would love to see UMD make some tree presence here, considering they've had a lot of success there in the past. And Savani's about to run into this Omen, who's only 5 HP, so hopefully she should be able to take her down, and that's exactly what she does. And now they're going to be able to pick up a Vandal from that Omen, which is going to be huge, considering UMD's economy. It's just going to help things gain a little bit of momentum, but Spike is starting to tick down, so UMD has got to make a move soon here. Looks like they're going to make their move in from heaven. Gotta watch out for Hell, though, as this Yoru sitting Hell able to find 2 and 3, make that 4. Crazy play from this Yoru, just causing so many issues for this retake. And now UMD just, they have to not have a great economy. You know, that was a crucial round for their bye.
Yeah, I think even just the KO knife missing the Yoru was really crucial, because that, I'm assuming they thought like, oh, nobody was Hell, but yeah, like we saw that KO dart or KO knife just barely missed, and the Yoru was able to take out four players and essentially hold sight for themselves.
Now UMD's pretty poor. This is a full buy for them. Super duper important round. Looks like Savannah State's going super fast and aggressive onto reset, using that Yoru ultimate. Gonna take down Carrots and Trace. We're the only 2 defenders on site.
I think Savannah has an operator.
Spike planted.
I'd love to see her get a couple picks with Operator if she still has it in hand. And yeah, it looks like she does, because she's fighting this one with a classic. And Soap's going to try to help, and she does as she finds that trade. But that Operator is taken down, expensive for the side of UMD in terms of economy. So this round is becoming increasingly more important for them to win.
Last player
I think it's very important. They need to save, but they do push in and try to find a few kills here and there. are only able to get, they're only able to get 2, but I think the right choice was maybe to save the op, because that's a very, very big investment, especially from Savannah there.
And now, since UMD used everything they had to buy that round, they have to pretty much full save heading into this against good guns. And now that the scoreline is evened out, this is not the place where you want to start to give up rounds.
Yeah, I totally agree. And given that this is considered match point for, or not match point, but this Savannah State needs one more round to secure the match tonight. And UMD's got to really pull something back here. And this gamble stack does look like it's going to work out if Savannah State doesn't run a fake.
I really do like this gamble stack, and beautiful crossfire from Soap and Hammy, but this Gecko ultimate might make things difficult to tame Soap, but Hammy's still in business. So many kills going on this A side, and that round just was over in a matter of seconds. And honestly, not a huge loss for UMD, considering they didn't have great guns in hand, but still, you hate to see UMD lose these rounds as we're starting to near the end of this match.
Yeah, they were able to get 2 kills, and they are starting to build up some ults here. Both Savannah and Hammy do have their ults, and Soap and Carrots are pretty close as well. Savannah State not having anything to really work with here, but this is UMD's round. They have got to convert something here so they get back into this game. And Savannah really aggressive out in mid with the help. They just got to be aware this Gecko gets taken down.
And UMD has found some success on the trades. They also have found Spike, and now it's going to be a matter of them holding down Spike, taking control. I really do like Soap's positioning, able to peek in from tiles from Cat, finds one off of that. UMD still holding control of this Spike, and they just have to have all eyes on mid here.
I got the last player standing.
And Carrots,
Spike down
with the help
mid.
of Trace, able to continue holding down the Spike. That's going to put Carrots at 3 kills for this round. She's searching for her 4th, going to push this Jet and able to find the 4th.
Yeah, this is exactly the round that you need. I mean, even Carrots getting a 4K, well done to her. That's got to be a really big step in confidence there. But being able to equalize it now and then have much more of an economic advantage over Savannah State going to the final rounds of this round is pretty advantageous.
And finally, UMD has better guns, like you were saying, so hopefully they start to build a bit of momentum and stop this from being so neck and neck, because if it continues to be neck and neck, we could be looking at an overtime situation. Gonna have to figure out how to counter this KJ ultimate from Savannah State, gonna force Carrots to back up far into Boathouse along with Trace. And Savannah did pop her jet knives, looking in from Market. She's gotta either break this door or peek out from Market sooner rather than later, because her teammates are just getting taken down onto site.
Spike planted.
She just has to take a little bit of space. Great shot to get things started off with her knives, but she's got to take more space off of that. Soap from CT, though, using her KJ ultimate, UMD is looking to win this round. It's being so expensive for them, but Savannah with her knives making things so much better for the Terps. Great shot. Can she finish it off, though? No, but Hammy is there. Those were some insane knife shots from Savannah. That updraft, holy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, we've seen some very, very cool things that Savannah's been able to do with the jet knives.
Yeah, and she, like you said, when she's confident, she is able to use those knives like it is nobody's business. So great round for her, great retake, and it's good that UMD was able to win, because that was so expensive for them, especially with that KJ ultimate. And we are heading into a timeout. Not sure who took the timeout. I would guess Savannah State?
Probably. I mean, this would be a pretty good timeout to take for Savannah State, because now UMD has built up a lot of momentum, and they're just trying to take a chance at maybe stepping away and slowing some of that down. But Dusty again giving his words of wisdom for the Terps here, and they've been on a roll the last 2 rounds. I mean, Carrots and Savannah have been able to really do some numbers on Savannah State.
Yeah, Savani's having a great game. Like we said, so is Hammy. I love these coordinated crossfires that they've been doing. I think they've been working out beautifully for them, you know, when they're able to pull it off. And just it's a matter of keeping their economy up. And as they've been doing, I would just love to see Savannah repurchase that operator, considering it didn't really work out for her the one time she did. If the economy gets a boost, man, because she's so good with the ops, so especially holding mid, because this Gecko particularly has been peeking mid, so that could be a good play for her. Once again, a lot of B presence from Savannah State. This time it's not going to be as heavily defended by UMD, as no one's sitting boathouse or on site really at all. And UMD is going to be forced to kind of spray in from market and figure out a retake, but all 5 UMD players are alive, and Savannah State has taken a bit of damage to that Gecko and Omen. Ultimate going to be initiated for Hammy as she is looking in from market. Savannah State mostly grouped together on site. 4 of the players are on site with the exception of this KJ who got taken down by Hammy. Now the remaining attackers are going to be pushed onto this bomb site. So UMD just has to be aggressive here, use utility to make these fights go in their favor, and that's exactly what they're doing. Look at the assists from Hammy, 3 of them in a row. Talk about utility.
Yeah, I think Hammy's just suppression, especially onto the Jet, because the Jet only had a classic to work with there, and just being able to really control what abilities are being used. And I mean, even in the last game, Savannah State has been very oppressive with their utility, and I personally thought the KO ult was a little too early, but it worked out perfectly for UMD with Savannah on that flank and able to create a lot of space. But Hammy, I think the biggest kill there was getting the kill in A lobby.
Yeah, that KJ could have been dangerous there if UMD didn't get the read that she was sitting almost behind them. Carrot's having a great game at 20 kills so far and counting. As UMD looks to continue their success on defense, Savannah State will group together towards A, with some pushing in from Tree right into Carrots, though. There is a Yoru fake, so Carrots heard some footsteps, so she's definitely wary of this tree push, but looks like most of the efforts are going to be placed through main. But look at the main aggression from Savannah and Trace. They're going to swing out and find success from that aggression for the most part. Trace does get traded, but UMD still coming out on top with a numbers advantage as Carrots is continuing to hold tree. And it's going to pay off because that is where Savannah State is heading, but they might be forced to double back out of tree and potentially towards B. I wouldn't be surprised. But Soap is sitting there with her setup still, and she's going to start to hear some footsteps and try to relay that information to the rest of her team that this is going to end up being a B push. And she does get taken down, so that is all of UMD's defenses on B pretty much disabled, and considering that the setup was there as well.
Amy's got to be really careful about this Euro. If she can get this Euro, this is a very good position, but is not able to get the Euro. The Euro's down to 5 HP. Savannah State not looking really healthy here in terms of just overall health, but Savannah able to flank and get that Gecko out. If they can find some way to get this Euro, and Carrots is able to get the Euro, time is ticking.
Yeah, it's about pinching Boathouse here. Savannah able to get the job done. Found 3 for herself that round. Great round for UMD. Great round for Carrots, like we said, with her positioning. So UMD is only 2 wins away from winning the second map, or 1 win.
Yeah, and I think Savannah State bought a lot of, or some weapons last round, so I don't know if they'll have a full economy going into this last round. I do stand corrected, they do. But Savannah buying the op here, I think this is a very good choice because they're sitting really well with economy, and even if they lose a round or two, they can still buy up, and it's going to be very hard for Savannah State to come back from this.
I'm super excited to see what Savani's able to do with her op. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be peeking into it too soon. Instead, she's going to be a little bit more aggressive towards B site, but it does look like Bomb is going to be towards A. This time, Soap has switched up her setup actually to be on A site, which is going to, it looks like that is going to pay off. So that would be a great read from her if it ends up being an A hit.
And they are definitely aware of this Gecko ult that could very well cost them a life or two. So they're just playing off of sight just a bit. And there goes the Gecko ult.
Yeah, and it's checking where UMD is typically holding those crossfires, but I don't think the Gecko ult quite detained any UMD player. So UMD standing in a pretty decent position for a retake, especially since Soap's able to find that pick. Carrots looking to flash in from heaven, peek out off of it. Looking at Generator, though, not able to find anybody quite yet, but that's going to change quickly as she's able to work off Pammy's utility to find that Jet. And all of these Savannah State players are just grouped together in hell and make that a main as the Euro is able to TP to that KJ, but UMD has such a good numbers advantage. They should be able to defuse Spike and distract the rest of the Savannah State players by just swinging into them, while they're able to get this diffuse off and win the second game of this best of 3, and we are going to be heading into a map 3.
Yeah, that KJ grenade was popped a little late, and UMD was already on the bomb by the time the KJ popped the nade, which wouldn't have been enough time to kill. But well played by UMD. That was their comfort map, so that's kind of what we expected. And you know, just being able to come back after switching the lead and coming down a round deficit to Savannah State, being able to pull that back and ultimately win the game. That was very well done by them.
And it all comes down to the third map of who is going to be the winner of this series. So we'll be back after a quick commercial break to see the end of this.
Whether you're a new publisher or app developer, or if you've been around the block for a little while and you have your own ad ops team, Playwire is developing the solutions and products that are perfect for you.
RAMP stands for Revenue Amplification Management Platform. But really what it does, it helps you make more money per user, and it helps you simplify your business so you can just focus on what matters, which is making great content. So if you think about today's ecosystem, there's so many different pieces to run an ad tech platform.
RAMP brings the entire ad ecosystem under one umbrella. Everything from centralized ad unit creation to piping in those demand sources. We layer on a DMP, and we take care of your data privacy and consent management for you as well. We tie all of that together with robust analytics.
Playwire really offers our publishers two different models at this point. We've got the full service model where we come in and we cover everything. And there's now our new self-service model where you can come in and you can say, I just want Playwire to take care of some of these things for me. Another thing that we've had a lot of partners do with us in the past is say, hey, maybe I have a few of my own direct campaigns that I want to run. Or I've even got an ad ops team. I don't know whether Playwire is right for me because those people are doing a good job. We don't want to displace them in favor of Playwire. That's fine. We're happy to bring all the technology that we've put out there, but use it with your own team and with your own ad stack. What does that mean for you as a publisher? It means that you get to leverage all of the revenue maximization technology that we've got in place and still have all of the capabilities and all of the demand partners that you're used to working with. You can have your cake and you can eat it too.
We actually do things at such scale, right? We're serving 70 billion ads a month at this point. That's a huge benefit that we're passing on to the publisher.
Revenue intelligence marries human intelligence with machine intelligence. At its core, revenue intelligence is about taking all the demand that you're already getting and getting more out of it. We want to make it so that you're getting 10% more from your ad inventory without even worrying about who the advertisers are. It's based on us going in and understanding what are the places where we can put additional price pressure on. There's all sorts of situations like this where you can eke out little benefits and add them all up, you're quickly at a point where you are getting that 10, 15, 20% uplift on your revenue without having made any changes in who's actually doing the advertising.
Our DMP is built from the ground up to work in a cookieless environment and not use cookies to basically store, user behavior or anything like that. And it's built right into the RAMP platform.
We can tell advertisers information about user interests, but also user behavior, do it on a massive scale, do it in that real-time way that we also do with our revenue intelligence capabilities, and also do it in a way where we can leverage the size of our network. We're trying to do everything that we can to show you every step of the process of getting an ad onto the page. That means that we've got much richer charts and graphs, a lot more ability to look at a piece of information and drill down on it, answer that question that maybe you didn't even know that you were asking. We're trying to make you think differently, actually, about your business, about how your business relates to advertising, and reveal all of that through the platform. So analytics are one big piece of it.
It's a constant evolution. We're constantly updating our technology. We're constantly creating the future.
It's a real challenge for publishers these days to navigate advertising technology. It seems like every 6 months there's some new challenge. And at Playwire, we make sure that we take all of that pain away from our publishers so they can focus on their core business of publishing.
Terp Adventures take flight at Stamp. Host to countless Maryland events, programs, performances, and more. Feed your body, feed your mind, feed your soul. Let your talents soar. Dance, sing, perform, find your thing. Join more than 800 student organizations and clubs. Find community here. Leadership lives here. Art thrives here. With space to grow. We're all just kids at heart. Let your imagination fly. Compete. Play. With wings on our feet. Here your spirit can fly. Here your soul lifts up. Here you remember those who came before. This is STAM. This is the Center for Campus Life, where Terp adventures take flight. You belong here. Come fly with us.
Hello and welcome back, guys. We are going into round 3 of tonight, and the final round is going to be settled on Sunset.
I'm excited to see Sunset. We're seeing 2 maps that typically I feel like are not too commonly picked, which is exciting, but it also leaves room for the unexpected in terms of comp and just, you know, we've seen crazy comp, or not crazy comps, we've just seen like wild card agents being picked from Savannah State in the past 2 games. So I'm curious to see, you know, who their duelist pick is, or if we see a Clove also, because Clove is pretty good on this map as well. So I would love to see some Clove action. I would also love to see the Terps come out with a win, and it all comes down to this game.
Yeah, even speaking on that Clove, we've seen a lot of playing with Clove, even on our Premier team too. I think they've gone against a few teams that have played Clove, and this is a very interesting comp. The Reyna pick, again, Oxygen Suck going for the Gecko again, but the Reyna is still pretty interesting.
Yeah, their duelist pick has been really unpredictable for Savannah State. This time they're opting for a Reyna, but the rest of their composition looks pretty expected for what we want to typically see on Sunset. Cypher is a super strong agent on this map, holding down B site especially. Love to see Hammy on Breach. I think her Breach is very good, and she's gonna rack in probably a lot of assists like she did for KO on Ascent. But other than that, yeah, most comps looking pretty reasonable on both sides, with the exception of that Reyna that Unity's probably expecting a bit of a wild card at this point, you know, seeing these past couple games. They are going to be starting on defense, so they really aren't going to be able to set the tone as much like they were able to do on Ascent on attack.
Yeah, I think even with the Gecko, I think it's kind of predictable that the Gecko is going to do exactly what they've been doing the past couple rounds, is using shotguns and playing in really, really weird spots. So I think going into this last match, UMD's probably got an idea of what's gonna happen, really.
And they're going to have to rely on the Cypher setup to hold down B, especially on the defense, because it's a matter of not, you know, letting up too many rounds if they want to feel good about heading into attack and feel confident, which is what attack is all about. So as we see, Soap is going to set up some trips outside B main, and that does look like where Savannah State is grouped together for the most part now. Not too many UMD players watching mid to start things off. Carrots might be in market, just kind of, you know, waiting for a push through there. But other than that, no one top mid.
Yeah, and I do really like this one way that we're seeing from Soap. Cypher on this map is very good, and having a lot of that knowledge of where exactly to put your util is crucial.
And now UMD has the call that this might be a B push because the utility is going to start popping out, and that nade, its purpose is just to get rid of some of that Cypher utility. The one way, though, going to come through for Soap, but she's going to be forced to back up off of this site because of the aggression that Savannah State was putting up with all 5 of their players currently on site.
Spike planted.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a lot of these 5-man retakes in the last couple matches, so this will be really interesting to watch. UMD still has a lot of utility to work with here.
And now they're trying to use some of their utility, including that nade. But look at Trace, found 2 for herself, Savannah as well. And UMD is simply just winning their 1v1s, and they got right back in this bomb site, and they're able to win the first pistol round.
It was a huge flank from Hammy there too, with just using her util, because both players in main were stunned. I think one more was also stunned on site, but that was still a really impactful flank there.
And also just a good retake in the way that each person really, you know, pulled their own weight in terms of finding their own pick, and Trace and Savannah both finding 2. So obviously they had great rounds, but that's exactly how you want to start off. And now UMD's able to buy better weapons. They're able to have a Bulldog, Spectres. So this should be a good round for them as well. Savannah State this time looking to switch things up by having some mid presence. Carrot's going to close that door though to prevent any peeking into market. And Carrots looked like she wrapped around actually towards top mid. Now she might run into that Reyna later in the round, but we see Hammy able to hold down A site to start things off. And this bomb is actually all alone, you know, in mid. And now Savannah State's going to have to regroup, and well, they're looking like they're stacked towards B site, but they're going to have to get through a Cypher setup if they want to head that way. But they also have to be aware of this Reyna's positioning, as she could flank or try to walk in from top mid.
But Hammy and Savannah are already on the flank. They might even meet up right here with where the bomb is, and that is bomb down with the Gecko.
Great shots from Hammy and Savannah there on that flank, going to continue to use their utility to push through. Now that they do have bomb control, it's about aggression and taking space there. HP not looking great for Savannah State, so UMD should be able to just get the job done here, and that's exactly what Soap's able to do with the Spectre.
Yeah, great crossfire there from Soap, baiting Hammy just enough to get the other two players on Savannah State to walk out and then take them both down. But even just that flank coming from Savannah and Hammy was just perfect. I mean, both of them had some really good shots there, and being able to catch the perfect timing on the Gecko and Cypher was that just effectively won them the round.
And now they're going to be up against a good purchase from Savannah State. Vandals in hand on the other side. Savannah peeks out aggressively, pays off for her, but she's not done, not backing off this angle at all, using her satchels to try and get Savannah State out of position a little bit. And now UMD being aggressive with Trace wrapping around the other side from a main to try and make things even more difficult for Savannah State to take any space, because they're not going to get any through elbow because of Savannah's ultimate especially. And now they're in not a great position to take A at all, and even like a worse position as UMD's being aggressive, swings out and finds all but one Savannah State player.
Yes, it's very good discipline from Trace, just backing up, waiting for Carrots to wrap around with Soap. Maybe Carrots might get the timing on the Reyna.
Reyna does have bombs, so theoretically she could rotate, but it looks like her only option here really is to just find at least a pick or two to just get a bit of more of an advantage. But Trace is not going to let that happen, and now UMD has taken those weapons out of Savannah State's hands, including Vandals, Phantoms, and now hopefully they're going to be able to bonus and build up some economy.
Yes, it's already a great start. I mean, they're 3 up at just the beginning of the game, and they have, like you said, they have already started to build up a pretty good economy with Soap pushing 5K. But Savannah State's they're gonna invest a little bit into a hero rifle with a Guardian and a Marshal and a bunch of sheriffs. So even though UMD is up in terms of gun, they gotta be really careful to play this relatively safe so they don't give anything to Savannah State.
And this time UMD heavy on taking space in mid. We've seen them peek towards mid before, but not really take this much space. Bomb is mid though, so I do like this play call from UMD, especially if they're able to get bomb down early in mid. It's easy to get eyes on it. And I would love to see Hammy and Trace potentially wrap around from A. Savannah though gonna get things started in mid though, speaking of taking mid space, but Savannah State responds. Trade does come through for Carrots though, but it comes back around the other way. Savannah State still has control of bomb, and now they're just gonna back away from mid and escape with their lives and decide where to take bomb. But they gotta be aware of A-Link though. Like we said, Hammy and Trace could be creeping up right behind them, but it looks like instead they're going to be looking towards B, where they are going to have to deal with Soap in the Cypher setup.
30 seconds left.
And there's 2 of the 3 UMD defenders are going to be on this flank. Doesn't look like anybody's really watching it for Savannah State yet, so this could be huge if they get their timing right. Soap's just going to let them plan actually, because this flank could be all that UMD really needs, but no, looks like there's 2 players watching that way now. Utility's going to come through for UMD. They got to work around a Cypher cage. It's going to make things super difficult to get eyes on anybody. Soap still lingering in Boba, though. Hammy peeks through out of the Cypher cage, finds 2, and Soap, everybody just doing their part, each finding 1 apiece to win this round.
Yeah, well played by Soap there, just to stay passive and let her teammates flank, and then everyone just gets pinched inside of main. That was also some very good util usage from Hammy, that being able to stun all 3 of them. I think it was all 3 of them at the same time, which just allowed them so much space to just get in and really do what they need to.
Things are looking so good for UMD so far, especially look at this leaderboard. Hammy, Savannah both tied at 6. Trace follows up with 4, and Top Frag on Savannah State only has 4 kills. So in terms of just sheer frags, UMD doing a lot better, looking a lot better than they have in the previous 2 rounds. But Savannah State looking to change up the tone with some aggression towards B. I love that off angle for Karis. She's not going to be able to find any though, but Soap is, with the help of her setup and that trip, and she's not done wreaking havoc in from market, which is typically not where she plays on the site, so it's probably catching Savannah State a little bit off guard. Now the rest of her team's going to join her, 2 of them actually alongside in market, the rest going to come in from Boba. And Soap actually found her 3rd for the round. Carrots helps out as well as UMD has found their way onto this side. Great shots from this Cypher though. Utility's going to come in from Hammy to try and weaken this Cypher. And UMD is able to clean up that last player and able to find their 5th win.
Yeah, Soap just really locking down sight and being able to get 2 kills early in the round just makes the retake so much easier. And UMD, even they're up, I think, what, 5-0 now? 5 or 6? Yeah, 5. They're already sitting really comfortable in terms of economy. And Savannah does buy this op here. This is a pretty big investment, but she has so much money to back it up with, especially from her teammates, too.
And it looks like she wants to be aggressive out of B main with it. If anyone decides to peek there, that'll be huge. But I don't think they're going to, as that Cypher trip set up there trying to catch a flank. And instead, we're going to see so much A presence from Savannah State as this Raze is pushed up really deep up, almost in UMD spawn, gonna take down Carrots and continue almost hitting A from a defender-sided standpoint. Pops the ultimate, and they're not going to see anybody quite yet. So able to find 1, runs out of bullets for the second, cannot pull off that right click in time, gets taken down.
Hammy is able to take down the Cypher in mid. The Terps do have a breach ult to work with here, so this might be really good in terms of just retaking site.
And it's practically a 2v2 in terms of HP. That Raze only down to 5 and does not have her ultimate anymore. Breach ultimate gonna come through for UMD. Does stun Savannah, unfortunately, but there's a lot of more utility to work off of for Hammy. But no, Savannah does get taken down. Now it's all up to Hammy as she's just being looked at from all different angles. And unfortunately, the breach ultimate could not net a round win.
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit ill-timed because Savannah was knocked by it and just kind of slowed him down a little bit in terms of just getting as much space as possible following the breach ult. But they are still able to full buy again. Well, Savannah State just kind of mustering up what they have left. And even if Savannah State loses this round, because they won the last round, their loss bonus is going to get reset. So if UMD is able to take this round, they're sitting pretty comfortable in terms of just the economic battle between these 2 teams.
Savannah repurchased the operator, not going to spot anybody off of B though, as it does look like this is going to be a heavy A push for Savannah State. Soap did switch up her setup though for A site, which I really do like, and it's really smart considering that is where Savannah State is headed. Hasn't caught anybody yet in the setup, but is about to as Savannah State makes their way onto site. Carrots holding an off angle, gets spotted off of it again, not going to find a pick there, so Spike's going to come down if they can replant it after Wingman died. Salty Soap though found one from CT and still is looking CT just to try and find anybody who's peeking out into her, and that is exactly what she's able to do, and the rest of her team is gonna actually fall in from main here using utility as Soap and Savannah and Hammy all get taken out almost in one sweep. That only leaves Trace. Everyone knows where she is. 4K for the other side. Great job by that Reyna.
Yeah, it was kind of a lot of pressure for UMD to just get out of that choke point, and Savannah State put so much util, but actually both teams put a lot of util in just holding that or fighting for that one choke. But Savannah State was able to come out on top of that. And since Savannah did buy the op, she's down a little bit in terms of economy. So is Trace. But UMD's trying to muster up whatever they can here. Looking for another round win and maybe convert this back and get back what they lost in terms of money.
Yeah, this is the first round in a while UMD hasn't had excess money to work with. So now it's about stopping Savannah State's momentum in order to swing things back in their favor, as it does look like this is going to be an A hit. But UMD, 3 of them actually grouped together near site to try and slow down Savannah State. Hammy finds one, gets traded off of it though. And UMD just has one less person to work with. I really like Savannah's positioning here. Pays off big as she's able to find one from elbow. Uses her nade to clear even more space. And suddenly Savannah State not in a great spot. And they're pinched onto this A site, especially with Soap's Cypher ultimate. There is nothing that they can hide.
Last player standing.
And now it's down to a 2v1. Savannah seems to know the positioning of this Gecko as she throws a satchel that way, and the satchel's paid off in her favor as she's able to use her Bulldog to find that last pick. And a good round for UMD considering they didn't have really the guns they wanted to in hand, and hopefully gets their economy back on track.
Yeah, it was very well positioning, or it was very good positioning from Savannah there, just staying back in cave and using her ult to flank and get a 3K for the round. So well played by her.
And Soap's having such a good game. We see her at 10 kills on Cypher. She's really able to use her utility to her advantage in terms of wall banging off of trips. We've seen her do that a couple times. So great start if you're Soap, and it looks like Soap's going to have hopefully another great round at Savannah State, making noise towards B site.
Yeah, the Terps still not looking too great in terms of guns. I think I saw a few Bulldogs, but if they win this round, Savannah State's going to have to go on a full save.
Cage triggered.
Gecko ultimate used for Savannah State to try and get some of the Cypher utility out of play. Carrots again holding an off angle. This time though, finds success off of it. Gonna hop off that box to save her own life. And this Reyna just almost had a moment of genius there, but good thing Hammy was looking that way, able to stop that before anything too ugly happened. Trace going to use her Fade ultimate, thinking that Savannah State's on site, but that's not where they are. Instead, they're going to play passively. Gecko picked up the ultimate, though, and is planning to use it again. I think it did get a hit off, though, so Yumi's going to have to work around that and try and defuse this bomb. It's going to be hard with all this utility headed their way. Carrot and Savannah being aggressive, trying to let the spike be diffused. Spike diffuser was killed, but UMD has plenty of time to get the other half of this.
Yeah, it was some really good chemistry and just putting their utility just exactly where they needed to. Hammy was just able to put her breach aftershock exactly where the rest of Savannah State would be flooding out to fight for the spike, and they were able to just isolate from there, and Carrots went off getting that first kill, and then the rest of the team following up and cleaning up the rest of the Savannah State players. And we are in a timeout right now, probably called by Savannah State, I would assume. And yet again, we do have a lovely coach's cam of Dusty here. Now, even though UMD has been doing really good the last couple rounds, I think Dusty is just trying to target exactly where they still are lacking. Yeah,
things have been going well for UMD, but like you said, there's a couple moments, particularly like in their retakes sometimes, things have fallen apart a little bit, but in general, if they're able to hold down a site, before bomb gets planted, that's typically when they find success during these rounds. So I think Savannah State's trying to figure out, how can we force UMD in a retake scenario, because they tend to, struggle with that a little bit more.
Yeah, and like I said at the beginning of last round, if UMD was able to win the round, this puts Savannah State in a very, very bad place in terms of economy, and yet they're only able to buy shares some marshals with light shields, so this should be a pretty easy win for UMD as long as they play this right.
Trace's fade, I did spot somebody A, so UMD's just gonna kind of spread out, wait for any more information to come their way.
And the arena pushed so far up mid. Hammy is probably aware of the lurker in mid. She's got her eyes on the smoke here. Reyna thinking about pushing, maybe not.
Yeah, it's good that Hammy's watching this, because this Reyna very well might push up and try and catch Soap on the back end of Boba to try and disengage this Cypher utility, but it does look like instead we're going to see some A presence from Savannah State. Trey's going to swing out and be successful off of it. Savannah in the double swing. It's beautiful for UMD as Hammy continues this momentum into mid, and now the only two remaining Savannah State players are going to be the two attackers left, who are B site, who now again just have Soap to deal with and the one-way Cypher cage, and they also got to be aware of Carrots, who's sitting market just waiting for that Cypher utility to engage so she can just spam through, and instead it's Soap who's going to spam through her one-way and have total control of the spike.
10 seconds left.
I know Carrots is going to help out a little bit, but beautiful round for UMD, especially out of a timeout for Savannah State, just trying to shut down any momentum, any game plan they may have came up with.
Yeah, even going back to Hammy just sitting most of the round watching mid, it took a lot of discipline just to sit there and stay focused. But in the end, it did pay off, because Arena did end up pushing into the CT side of mid. But even looking at the old game here, Savannah State does look like they're going to start getting some ults pretty soon, and a lot of aggressiveness in mid, just trying to push through market here.
Yeah, Savannah State is tired of Carrots sitting into market and killing off of that Cypher utility towards B, so they're going to push market super aggressively and get onto this B site, but Soap is going to be causing problems for them out from Boba, but she does end up getting traded, and now it looks like UMB's trying to push in back into market from mid. 3 of them to be exact, trying to take just any space they can from market. It's going to be hard though as Trace gets taken down, but the trade does come through. Still trying to take some space market, maybe regroup using this Breach ultimate. And Hammer's Breach ultimate doesn't look like it really stunned more than one person, but I think she's able to get an assist off of it. And now UMD is on this bomb site. They gotta be aware of this Omen, who's being so quiet, waiting for this defuse. But no, Savannah found the Omen. Great pick from Savannah, but there's just not enough time. So she is gonna die to the bomb, but that was a really close round.
Yeah, really close indeed. And going into this last round of the half, Savannah State has 4 ults to use. They have the Gecko ult, which we've seen has been very, very annoying for the Terps, and yet they also have the Cypher and Raze ult, which are probably the 3 most important ults in this game. They do have the Omen ult, or both sides have the Omen ult, which could very well net some information or even just a quick rotate on the side of Savannah State. But a lot of aggression from the Raze and a wasted ult. This might be big, but Savannah does get tagged by the Gecko ult and taken down. It's a 3v4.
I know exactly.
You're in a lot of ults coming out in the first little bit of the rounds, and Trace gets taken down by a nasty shot from the Raze.
A lot of ults, but in the end, Spike is going to come down, and that's all that Savannah State really cares about, because now they're leaving Soap and Carrots to try and retake in a 2v4 setting, which is not ideal. They're going to be forced to kind of stick together here and not give up 1v1s, but it's going to be so hard. With this Gecko ult move, he's going to detain Soap all up to Carrots to try to defend her teammate, as Soap just going to try and spray and push through, and with the Gecko ult just makes things so difficult. And Savannah State able to take another round, putting things at 8-4 for the half, where UMD will now transition to attack.
Yeah, it was a little funny because I think the Gecko bought a judge that last round.
Now that you mention it, I've seen less shotguns this game than I have in the previous 2 from Savannah, till you mentioned it. So.
Yeah, I mean, even just going into this next half, Savannah State is on defense, so this is really where shotguns shine. But given the amount of util that UMD has to clear out a lot of those really weird areas and ratty corners, they should be able to deal with this pretty easily. And lots of aggression coming through mid. I think they're just going to rush straight through market here. We'll be met with the Omen, just delaying a bit, as well as the Cypher.
And UMD is just going to use so much utility in market here and try to meet up with the rest of their team who's coming in from main in order to take B side. Looks like they're going to be able to, as long as they can kill the Cypher backside, finally able to, but not without a trade on the other side to speak for UMD. Able to get bombed down. Hammy's HP not looking great though, so while UMD does have a numbers advantage, they got to be aware of Hammy and such low HP, and looks like UMD for the most part is going to be looking at just holding their crossfires that have been so successful for them on Ascent, and then trying to carry that into Sunset. It works out to begin with, as Savannah and Carrots both find 1 apiece, and now all that's left is this Omen, and Savannah Carrots both trying to, you know, double swing into that Omen to make that unwinnable, and UMD gets things started off on the right foot for attack.
Yeah, it was a very good off angle from Carrots there, just holding CT along with Soap, and just the swing on the Reyna and the Omen was just perfectly timed. Nobody really expected Carrots to be there. And we do see the Gecko buying a Bucky yet again for the millionth time in this match.
I cursed it. As soon as it said they weren't buying a Bucky, they bought a Bucky. All good. UMD gotta be aware of that. And what a shot from Carrots to get things started. With the Phantom too, that's gonna put Savannah State at a bit of an awkward position with only a classic, and just gonna try to push that smoke. Not gonna work out as Savannah finds a great shot with her Ghost. Now UMD, who was in mid, able to transition into an A attack, because it's really only this this Gecko here, but they have to check this route corner though. It looks like Savannah didn't check it either, and it's Soap, and they both get taken down. Hammy though finally able to take down that Bucky, but this Raze has just walked quietly behind this box onto site. Trey certainly has some idea that that Raze might be there. Hammy gonna catch her on the other side of it, down to a 1v1 though with Carrots and this Cypher. Carrots has got to pick up Bomb and find this kill, but no, she found the kill first, so who cares about Bomb if you're Carrots and have great aim.
Yeah, indeed. And that was pretty lucky on the timing too, because the Cypher just was completely unaware that Carrots was behind box, and thought she was closer towards right side of sight. And this Gecko just proving to be a complete nuisance to UMD, and he's going to get 2 off the Bucky.
Yes, this should do.
And back with the Odin shenanigans that we've seen quite a lot this match.
And the Odin's going to be played on A side. Thank God UMD is not headed that way, though, because that would be super annoying to counter. Instead, they're looking towards B. They haven't killed, the defender on site quite yet, but they've just been forced to back away into Market and into Boba. Omen's going to try to use their flash to try and push Carrots off that angle. But regardless, Spike is ticking, and Savannah State's got to hurry up if they want to take this round, because UMD's just going to play passively here. And this Odin might start to cause issues, and it does as it takes down Trace. And now all that's left is Soap, who's in Boba and has to take down Wingman, who's defusing, and the Odin finishes things off for Savannah State.
Yeah, the Gecko really used the Odin to its full extent and just retaking the site. And that was still a really good hold from Savannah and Carrots, just in back site, just delaying the push from CT as much as possible.
And UMD's certainly not in a place to panic. At 10-5, they have a really nice cushion here. Not that they would need it, but just in case, Savannah State starts to gain some momentum. They have a nice cushion. They have a nice economy cushion as well. They do have to be aware of those 2 ults that Savannah State has, because I think, like you mentioned earlier, those are some important ults to counter and certainly can sway, how rounds go. So having that in the back of your mind, that those ults might be in use, going to be helpful for the Terps as they start this round off pretty passively.
Yeah, there is an Odin and a Bucky in play on the side of Savannah State, so UMD's got to be really careful about these ratty guns. But I think given the history they've had in the past couple of rounds, they definitely are aware of some weird thing that Savannah State might be cooking up.
And now the Cypher's just sitting with the Bucky, though Savannah able to take care of it before it gets any value. Bomb comes down for a UMD. Hammy's able to plant it. Great positioning from Carrots, though. Great read towards mid there, and she's not done trying to just, catch any of these retake efforts from happening, but this Odin is still in play. And now that UMD sees that Gecko utility, they know that this Odin's going to be placed there. But what a molly from that Gecko, able to take down Carrots. And now Gecko's going to use their ultimate to try and take down Hammy. And it's just great coordination from Savannah State on that one. Savannah State still has to defuse Bomb, though. UMD's playing pretty passively, just waiting to hear this tap. Time is ticking down. So Savannah State has got to stick this sooner rather than later. And the Odin's just making things so difficult, but time is not on Savannah State's side. So the Odin gets taken down, but will it be repurchased is the question.
I think the Gecko might have enough money to buy the Odin. If not, they probably opt into getting a shotgun, like either a Judge or Bucky. And they do have quite a bit of money. Opting in for a Vandal here. It's an interesting play.
And UMD doesn't have a whole lot of money, but they're looking to buy as much as they can this round because they want to push this match to 12 at match point to try and, force Savannah State to get into overtime if they want to win this series.
Satchel out.
Yeah, Savannah does have her ult here. This might be pretty good. And she does pop the ult. She just has to get really lucky with the kill. It does get 1 kill, but I think doesn't damage the Gecko.
And UMD have yet to find their way onto A side. They could totally double back here because B is pretty much empty. But the alarm bells might start to ring for Savannah State as Soap's positioning is mid, but regardless, looks like UMD is going to pull that rotate towards B-site, but it's going to be met with a rotate from Savannah State as well on the defensive side of things. But hopefully this is going to buy UMD enough time just to get bombed down and really rely on playing a post plant.
And Soap's got to be really careful not to give this gun away. But maybe net a kill on this Omen that might try to push out. UMD does have some ults to work with here. They do have the Fade ult for just post, and they do invest it.
Great shots from Soap and Trace and Carrots for that matter, just leaving one Savannah State defender from Boba, and Carrots able to take that player down with the help of the Fade utility and Cypher utility. So now UMD is at match point, just one game away from winning this series. What a comeback it would be for them, considering the first round, or the first game of the series on Lotus didn't look so great for them.
Yeah, they did start out rough, but I mean they were able to pull a lot of it back together on Ascent, which is their comfort pick. And going into this map, they already had so much momentum, and they're just feeling good right now.
And UMD's pretty spread out across the map, just trying to see where Savannah State is showing aggression. It looks like the aggression is going to be from A for them, but for the most part, UMD grouping together in mid, maybe going to push through the smokes. I would love to see Savannah pull off some aggressive moves here, as she does, but gets picked off because of that Omen blind, going to make things really difficult for her. Savannah State now has so many reinforcements towards mid that UMD is going to be kind of forced to back up off of it. And
Soap is already on B site.
great positioning from Soap, but I don't know if she's aware of this Reyna, who's been really patient and quiet sitting back site. But meanwhile on A, Carrot's able to find a pick, and so is Trace. Soap, though, gets it done on B site. Now UMD has their pick of the litter. They can go at any site they want. They are going to be choosing B site, but this lurk from Carrots might be huge, as she does spot a late rotate. Not going to get the timing on that, so she's going to have to run around and meet up with the rest of her team as Savannah State tries to get a retake going from Market. Great shot from Hammy, though, to shut that down. Only one more player in their way, and Hammy finishes
another
it up.
fantastic shot from Hammy to close out the match. That was a very good game.
Yeah, great series overall. Again, like we said on Lotus, it wasn't looking great for them, but now it's all smiles across the board as UMD able to win this series, and I hear the music blasting in the studio as a celebration already.
Yep, I think this is the third or fourth time they've played Fiend in the studio tonight. So, great job by the Terps. That was one way to come back. Very, very well done. I mean, just able to put their foot down and stay consistent in their confidence and mentality. And especially Dusty coming in too with some very well needed words of advice, and we see all the players and coaching staff and everyone just having a good time, all smiles here in the studio after this very good win, because this puts the Terps at 2-1 in the NECC now.
Yeah, so now they have a winning record. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next Monday for some more Valorant. But before we say goodbye, we want to thank our sponsors, Philip Merrill College of Journalism, Playwire, and Recwell.